It's been one of those days. Too hot, too long, and my muscles are stiff from lifting bags of mulch and pushing lawnmowers. By the time I pull into the driveway, the sun's already sinking, casting an orange glow over everything. I just want to shower, eat, and forget about work for a few hours. But when I walk around to the side of the house, I find the gate locked. Not just closed, locked. I stand there for a moment, keys in my hand, staring at it. This is new. June never locks the gate. I knock on the door, figuring she's in the kitchen or something. June! I call out, a little louder than necessary, but nothing. Then, her voice comes through the door, thin and tense. I'm on an important work call. Okay? Can you just wait outside for 10 minutes? Don't knock again. I blink, my stomach tightening. Wait, what? I've been out all day. Just let me in. No, she says, and it's final. 10 minutes. I stand there, staring at the door, hearing her voice drop away as she goes back to whatever she's doing. The air feels thick. 100 questions run through my mind. What happened to us? Why does this feel like I'm being punished? I sit down on the porch steps, my back against the railing. I don't know if I'm waiting for her to open the door, or if I'm just hoping the evening will bring some sense of normalcy. I fiddle with my keys, watching the shadows stretch out. That's when I hear a soft bark. Amanda, my neighbor, walks by with her dog. She sees me sitting there and stops. You locked out? She asks, half teasing. She's always had this way of cutting through tension, making it feel lighter. Yeah, I say, a little embarrassed. Apparently, I'm not allowed inside yet. She smiles, a kind, understanding smile. Well, I've got a cold drink if you're stuck. You can sit on the back patio while you wait. I glance at the door, still locked, then back at Amanda. I think about it for a second. She's offering real kindness, but I shake my head. Nah, I'll be fine. Thanks, though. Anytime, she says and keeps walking. But her offer lingers. There's something comforting in it, even if I don't take her up on it. I sit there for a while longer, letting the night creep in around me. Just me, my keys, and the silence that's growing between me and June. I sit there for another 20 minutes, the late summer heat clinging to my skin like a second layer. I don't know if I'm angry or just tired, but it's starting to feel like an old, worn-out routine. I knock again. Nothing. I sigh, getting to my feet. The gate's still locked. I can't wait any longer. I walk next door to Amanda's house, my steps slow but deliberate. Her patio looks like a scene from one of those cozy Pinterest boards. Fairy lights strung up, a couple of chairs, a dog bed on the ground. She's sitting out there, leaning back in a chair, her dog curled up by her feet. Stuck out there? She asks, looking up with a smile that somehow feels like it's meant just for me. Yeah, I mutter, rubbing the back of my neck. Apparently, I'm on a timeout. She chuckles softly and stands up, walking over to the small table where a pitcher of iced lemonade sits. The glass she hands me is cold enough to frost my fingers. I get it. Important work calls and all that. I laugh even though I didn't expect to. It's been a long week, and it feels weird to feel anything lighter than the weight of my own thoughts. Yeah, important calls. Just doesn't feel like it should be this hard, right? She sits down, crossing her legs, and takes a sip from her own glass. Nothing easy about marriage, I guess. But it shouldn't feel like you're invisible either. I glance at her. She's not prying, but the words hit harder than I expect. It's been so long since I've been able to have a conversation that didn't feel like an argument waiting to happen, or worse, like I'm talking to a stranger. Yeah, well, I've been thinking about that a lot lately, I say, letting the coolness of the lemonade settle in my stomach. Just don't know how we got here. It feels like I'm invisible to her. Amanda nods slowly, her eyes calm, like she's letting me say what I need to. I get it. It's tough to feel like you're not even being seen. It's crazy how easy it is to talk to her. The words come out without effort, without hesitation. I don't have to pick them apart or wonder if they'll be twisted into something they aren't. There's just something about the way she listens, like she's not trying to fix things, but just being there. For the first time in what feels like forever, I realize I'm actually enjoying a conversation. I'm laughing, I'm talking. Hell, I'm relaxing. Something I haven't done in months. Amanda doesn't push me, but she lets the silence linger for a few beats, like she knows I need to just be. The sound of the side gate finally unlocking breaks the quiet. It's a small, sharp sound, but to me, it might as well have been the roar of a thunderstorm. I stand up, feeling a weird mix of relief and hesitation. Looks like I'm free, I say, glancing back at her. Amanda gives me a nod, the kind that says she knows. She doesn't say anything more, just watches me head toward the gate. I reach for the handle, still feeling the cool glass of lemonade in my hand, like I'm holding on to some version of normal that doesn't seem to exist in my own home anymore. Thanks, I say over my shoulder. Really, for the drink, and just letting me talk. No problem, she says. You've always got a seat on this patio. I give her a half smile before heading back to my own yard. The click of the gate echoes behind me, and I feel that pull again, like something is shifting, but I'm not sure what it is yet. I push open the door and step into the house, already bracing myself for whatever's coming next. June's standing by the kitchen counter, fiddling with a coffee mug. She doesn't even look up when I walk in. Client call ran over, she says, as if it's a simple explanation for everything. I'm still holding the lemonade glass, now warm in my hand, the ice long gone. My chest tightens. You locked me out. For 20 minutes. She shrugs, still not meeting my eyes. It's just 20 minutes. You're being dramatic. I exhale through my nose, trying to keep my cool, but something about the way she brushes it off, like I'm overreacting, pushes me too far. You're telling me I'm dramatic? I hold up the glass. You locked the gate. I had to sit out there like some kind of stranger. June finally turns, but there's no softness in her expression. I was on a call. I needed uninterrupted space. There it is again. Uninterrupted space. Like I'm the problem. Like my presence, just existing, somehow gets in the way of her work. Uninterrupted space? I repeat, my voice low, trying to keep it together. So you couldn't let me in for 20 minutes? She crosses her arms, leaning back against the counter. I don't know what you want from me. I do need to focus sometimes. It's not always about you. That hits harder than I expect. I take a breath, trying to force myself to stay calm. Who was the client, June? You've been on that call for hours. Who was it? Her face hardens, eyes darting away. Confidential. I stare at her, feeling a wave of frustration settle deep in my chest. Confidential. What does that even mean? Who are you talking to for hours, and why is it so damn secret? I press again, trying to make sense of it. Is this about the work, or is it about something else? Because it's starting to feel like I don't even matter around here. Her jaw tightens, and I see the defensiveness flash across her face. This isn't about you not matching. It's about you not being flexible. Sometimes I need my space, my professional space. I need you to respect that. I swallow hard. I've heard this before, and each time it lands heavier than the last. It doesn't feel like respect. It feels like distance. But before I can say anything more, the doorbell rings. We both freeze, and then she walks toward the door, her shoulders stiff. I follow her down the hallway. When she opens it, Amanda's standing there, holding a small plate of zucchini bread wrapped in plastic. Hey, June, Amanda says brightly. Just some leftovers. Thought you two might want some. June gives a tight smile, the kind that doesn't reach her eyes. Thanks. I don't bother with a smile. Feels fake, so I just take the plate from Amanda's hands. My fingers graze hers for a second, and I feel that small, familiar warmth. Amanda gives me a quick glance before stepping back. Enjoy. Thanks, Amanda. I say quietly, and she nods, leaving without another word. I close the door and turn back to June, the zucchini bread in my hands feeling like the only thing real in the room. June looks at the plate, her expression unreadable. Then she sighs, sitting back down at the kitchen table. I don't sit. I can't. I'm sorry, she says, but there's no apology in her tone, just an obligation, like she thinks she has to say it. I nod, but the words don't come. I'm not sure what to say anymore. We've been here before, and the words never fix anything. A few days later, it happens again. I pull up to the house after a long day of work and, sure enough, the gate's locked. I stand there for a moment, the heat from the pavement still rising in waves, the exhaustion settling into my bones. My first instinct is to knock, but I don't. This time, I don't even bother. I turn around and walk next door, feeling the weight of it all press on my shoulders. I don't know why I thought this time would be different. I get to Amanda's door and, before I can even ring the bell, it opens. She's standing there, already looking like she knew I'd come. "Locked out again?" she asks, her voice light, no judgment, just curiosity. "Yeah," I say, forcing a smile. "Don't know why I'm surprised." She steps aside, gesturing for me to come in. I walk past her, the cool air inside hitting me like a breath of fresh air. "You want coffee?" she asks as we move into the kitchen. "Yeah, sure. Sounds good," I answer, settling into one of the chairs at the table. She pours coffee, strong and dark, and hands me a mug. The steam rises, and for a minute, I let myself just be. It's not often I get a moment of quiet anymore, especially not when I'm home. We don't talk about what's going on next door. She doesn't ask, and I don't offer. We talk about small things, work, the weather, random thoughts that pass through our heads. But eventually, the conversation takes a turn, as it often does. "So," Amanda says casually, setting her mug down, "I've had my share of manipulative relationships." I glance up at her, the words catching me off guard. "What do you mean?" She shrugs, like it's no big deal, but her expression tightens a little. "I had a partner once who thrived on control. Everything had to be on their terms or it wasn't right. They'd make me feel guilty for wanting things that were just normal." I stare at her for a second, then nod. "That sounds awful." "It was," she says quietly. "And it took me a long time to realize what was happening, you know? To see it for what it was." I swallow hard. The weight of her words lands somewhere deep inside me, and I suddenly realize something I've been avoiding for a while. The erosion of respect in my own life has been happening, slowly, for a long time. June's need for space, the locked gate, the way she pulls away without warning. All of it feels like that slow drip of control, disguised as something else. I shift uncomfortably in my seat, staring into my coffee. I think I've been tolerating something like that for a while now. Amanda doesn't say anything at first. She just watches me, her gaze steady, like she's waiting for me to figure it out on my own. I don't even know when it started. I continue, my voice softer now. But it feels like I've been walking on eggshells. Like I'm just there to fill space, you know? To be convenient. She doesn't try to fix me or tell me what to do. She just listens, and that's what I need right now. It's not advice or solutions. It's the simple act of being heard. Finally, she speaks again, her voice calm but firm. "You don't have to settle for that, you know? You don't have to live like that." I nod, but I'm not sure what to say next. It's not as easy as she makes it sound. There's too much tied up in this. But in this moment, as I sit across from Amanda, with a cup of coffee in my hands and the weight of everything still pressing on me, I can almost see the possibility of something different, something better. Amanda doesn't try to push me toward a decision. She just lets the quiet fill the space between us. And I realize that, for the first time in a long time, I'm not the one carrying all the weight. We're sitting in Amanda's kitchen, the air between us still comfortable, when the sharp sound of knocking breaks the calm. It's loud, almost desperate, like someone pounding on the door. I freeze, my heart thudding in my chest before I even realize what's happening. I don't need to ask. I know who it is. "Amanda," I say quietly, though I don't need to. She looks at me for a second, her eyes steady. "Let her knock." I don't say anything more. We just sit there, listening to the knocking continue, harsh and impatient, the sound of it like a countdown. I can hear June's voice now, faint but clear, calling my name, demanding. I grip the edge of the table, my fingers tight around the coffee cup, watching the door. I don't want to deal with this. Not right now. After a minute that feels like an hour, Amanda stands up slowly and walks to the door. When she opens it, June's standing there, her expression twisted with something between anger and frustration. Where is he? June snaps before Amanda even has a chance to say anything. Amanda doesn't flinch. She doesn't raise her voice. She just looks at June, her face calm. He was locked out again. I invited him in, like any decent person would. June glares at her, her eyes wild, but Amanda stays unmoved. It feels like one of those moments you see in movies, where everything in the room is still, and the tension between two people could cut through glass. But June isn't having it. She steps forward, her voice rising. You think it's okay to just let him in like that? He's my husband. He doesn't get to just disappear when he feels like it. I don't move from the table. I don't even look at Amanda, but I can feel her presence in the room, steady and calm. June's voice grows louder, cracking with emotion, the desperation in it impossible to ignore. You think I don't have enough to deal with? June spits, her face red, her fists clenched. You don't know what it's like. You're just sitting here, playing the good neighbor while my life falls apart. A couple of neighbors have gathered near the windows now, their eyes peeking through the blinds. I can see them, discreet but not subtle. They're listening, watching. Amanda stands there, unmoved. But now, a few of the neighbors are speaking up. June, you're out of line. One of them calls out from a window. This isn't how you handle things. Another voice adds, maybe it's time to give him some space. I can't believe what I'm hearing. It's one thing for Amanda to back me up, but now, the neighbors? They're all noticing it too. June doesn't seem to care. She turns back to Amanda, her eyes blazing. Stay out of this, all of you, she yells. But even I can hear the shakiness behind her words. I stand up then, pushing my chair back. I'm staying here tonight, I say, my voice clear and firm. For a second, June just stares at me, and I can feel the shock hit her like a physical blow. The silence between us feels like it's stretching, her anger mixing with disbelief. Her eyes narrow, her lips trembling. What? She spits out, the fury in her voice rising again. You're choosing this? You're choosing her over me? I don't say anything at first. I don't have to. The look on her face says everything. This is it. The breaking point. I'm not choosing anyone, June. I'm just choosing to not go back into that house right now. Her face twists, a mix of shock and fury, and she shakes her head. You can't just leave. You don't get to do that. Not like this. I can. And I am. She opens her mouth, but no words come out. Her chest is heaving, her hands still clenched at her sides. She stares at me for a long moment, like she's trying to process what just happened. But she can't. Finally, she turns and storms off, slamming the door behind her. The noise is like a clap of thunder, but it doesn't shake me. I let out a breath I didn't realize I was holding, the tension leaving my body like I've been holding my breath for days. I turn to Amanda, who's still standing by the door, her face unreadable. You okay? She asks, her voice soft but firm. I nod, feeling a strange sense of relief, even though the storm's still brewing. Yeah, I say quietly. I think I am. The morning sunlight filters in through the kitchen window, soft and warm, making everything feel like it's still a dream. I'm lying on Amanda's couch, the quiet hum of the house settling around me. The smell of breakfast drifts in from the kitchen, eggs, bacon, toast. It's the kind of smell that makes you feel at home, even if it's not your home. I pull myself up from the couch, stretching out the stiffness in my back. The weight of last night still hangs over me, but it's different now. Feels lighter somehow. When I get to the kitchen, Amanda's already got everything laid out on the table. She's smiling, a genuine smile, like she's not trying to be anything more than just herself. It's simple, but it's the kind of warmth I haven't felt in a long time. Morning, she says, handing me a plate. Coffee? Yeah, please. I sit down, the comfort of the moment almost making me forget the storm that hit just hours ago. We eat in silence at first, the soft clink of silverware and the quiet buzz of the morning filling the space. The food tastes better than it should, simple but comforting, like I'm finally being taken care of. After a few minutes, my phone buzzes on the table, cutting through the calm. It's a message from June. I glance at it and feel the air in my chest tighten. There's a string of texts: apologies, justifications, requests to come home. Her words are all over the place, like she's trying to fix everything with a few typed-out sentences. I can feel the tension rising in me again, but I don't reach for the phone. I just stare at it, the screen lit up with her words. Amanda must have noticed the change in my expression, because she says quietly, "You don't owe her anything right now." I let out a breath, the words sinking in slowly. She's right. What does it even mean to owe someone when they've taken so much from you without asking? I don't owe June anything, not today at least. Yeah, I say softly, pushing the phone away. I don't think I'm ready to deal with it yet. Amanda gives me a small nod. Take your time. I pick up the phone again, hesitating just a moment before I type out a simple reply. I need space. I won't be home today. I hit send, and there's a strange sort of relief that follows. It's like I've just taken a small step towards something that feels right, even though I don't know where it's leading. I put the phone down again, finally feeling a bit of peace settle in. I look up at Amanda, and for the first time in what feels like forever, I don't feel like I'm walking on eggshells. Thanks, I say, my voice low but sincere, for everything. She smiles, and for a second, it feels like the weight of the world has been lifted just a little. Later that afternoon, there's a knock at Amanda's door. It's sharp, deliberate, and instantly recognizable. I don't need to wonder who it is. I'm not surprised, just tired of it. Amanda looks over at me, a silent question in her eyes. I nod, because I know what's coming, and we both head for the door. When I open it, June's standing there, perfectly put together, like she's been practicing for this moment. She's wearing that smile, the one that always feels rehearsed, and I can already feel the walls she's built up around herself. I need to talk to you, she says, her tone polite but cold. I step aside to let her in, but I don't let her in alone. Amanda follows right behind me, closing the door gently. June glances at her but doesn't acknowledge her presence, like she's a shadow in the room. But Amanda doesn't seem bothered. She just stands there, arms crossed, watching with quiet patience. Can we sit down? June asks, her voice calm but strained. I nod, walking over to the kitchen table and taking a seat. June hesitates for a second, then sits across from me, straightening her posture like she's about to deliver a well-thought-out speech. She starts with the same old script, the apologies, the "I didn't mean to hurt you," but it feels hollow, like it's just a performance. I've been thinking a lot about what happened last night, she says, her eyes meeting mine for a second before dropping. I know I've been difficult, but I've come up with a solution. I raise an eyebrow, already feeling the skepticism settle in. She takes a deep breath, clearly choosing her words carefully. I think we need a system, a way for me to have uninterrupted work time, but also a way for you to have some space in the house when I'm on calls. I stare at her, trying to process what she's saying. A system, she nods. Yes, we can schedule when you're allowed in certain parts of the house, like the office or the study, when I need quiet. That way, I'm not distracted, and you still have your space too. I don't know whether to laugh or scream. This isn't a solution. It's a control tactic. The whole thing reeks of her need to be in charge, to have things arranged her way, with no room for negotiation. I look over at Amanda, whose face is neutral, but I can see the faint tightening of her jaw. She's not saying anything, but she's with me in this. She knows exactly what this system is, a way to put me in a box, to make me fit into her carefully curated life. I turn back to June, my voice firm. That's not acceptable, June. I'm not gonna live like that. You don't get to control when I'm allowed to be in my own home. Her face hardens, but she doesn't argue. She just leans forward, hands clasped on the table, her voice quieter. I'm just asking you to respect my space. Can't you do that? Can't you just be a little more flexible? I swallow, trying to keep my temper in check. It's not about flexibility. It's about respect. And right now, I don't feel like you're respecting me at all. I'm not going back there, June. Not until I believe this marriage is fixable. She stares at me for a long time, her lips pressed into a thin line. The silence stretches, thick and uncomfortable. Finally, she stands up, pushing her chair back a little too forcefully. Well, she says, the calmness gone from her voice, replaced by something sharp. If that's how it's going to be, then fine. But don't expect me to just wait around while you figure things out. She turns toward the door, her heels clicking against the hardwood floor, and I know this is it. She's done pretending to care, done trying to convince me it's my fault. When she gets to the door, she stops and turns back to me, her eyes flashing. You're making a mistake, you know? You're throwing everything away over nothing. I don't think I am. I reply, my voice steady. She doesn't say anything else. She just walks out, slamming the door behind her. The sound of it echoes in the house, but this time I don't flinch. I look over at Amanda, who's been quiet through the whole thing. She doesn't need to say anything. I know she's thinking the same thing I am, that it's done. I'm not going back, I say, more to myself than anyone else. Amanda gives me a small, almost imperceptible nod. Good. You're not alone in this. I don't even have time to process the door slamming behind June before my phone buzzes. It's her. The text comes through like a slap. You need to choose, me or her. You can't have both. I read it, feeling a cold, sharp anger twist in my gut. Then my phone rings. I don't answer, just stare at it. She won't stop. She never does. A few minutes later, there's another knock at Amanda's door. This one's not as sharp as the last. More like a tap, almost tentative, but I know it's June again. I'll get it, Amanda says, standing up. I glance at her, but she doesn't give me a chance to protest. She opens the door before I can even take a breath. June's standing there, eyes red from whatever she's been crying about, but she's already wiped away any hint of vulnerability. She's back to being calm, collected, and demanding. You need to choose, June says, her voice cool but edged with frustration. Me or her. I'm not doing this anymore. Alex, I won't be in a relationship where I'm second to someone else. I stare at her, trying to gauge what exactly she thinks is happening here. This isn't about Amanda, I say, my voice quieter than I want it to be. This is about respect. You're not offering me any. Not now. Not in the last year. And I'm tired of it. She stiffens, her hands clenched into fists at her sides. You think she's offering you respect? June spits the words, the venom in her tone unmistakable. She's been manipulating you from the start. You've been brainwashed. Amanda doesn't flinch, doesn't even blink. She just watches June, calm as ever, not bothered by the accusation. You don't get to call me manipulative, June, Amanda says, her voice smooth, like she's handling a delicate object. I'm not the one who's been locking my husband out of the house. The words hang in the air, and I feel the tension thicken between all of us. June's face flushes, but she doesn't back down. See, June's voice rises. This is exactly what I mean. You're letting her get in your head. I'm not letting anyone get in my head, I say firmly, standing up now, the words coming quicker than I expected. You don't get to make me feel like I'm crazy, June. Not anymore. This isn't about Amanda. It's about me finally choosing to stand up for myself. I'm not going back until I believe the marriage is fixable. And right now, it's not. June's face goes white for a second, like she wasn't expecting me to say it out loud. Her eyes narrow, and I can almost see the calculations running through her mind. Then she looks at Amanda, almost daring her to speak, before she turns back to me. Fine, she spits. If that's how it's going to be, then stay here. You'll see what you're giving up when it's too late. She slams the door again, harder this time, like she's trying to make a point. The sound reverberates through the house, but I don't feel the way I thought I would. There's no knot in my stomach, no rush of guilt. I take a deep breath, my hands still slightly shaking, but not with fear, just the rush of adrenaline, the clarity that's been building in me all day. Amanda looks at me, but she doesn't say anything for a moment. Then, her voice is soft. You okay? I nod, taking a long breath. Yeah, I think I feel clearer than I've felt in years. Amanda watches me, her expression unreadable for a second. Then she looks away, her eyes distant for just a moment, before she looks back at me. I've wanted to invite you over for months, she says, her voice quieter now. But I respected that you were married. I saw how she treated you, though, and I couldn't just sit back anymore. I just wanted you to know you didn't have to go through it alone. I swallow, not knowing exactly what to say. My throat's tight, not from sadness or anger, but from something else. A strange mix of relief and maybe hope? I didn't know how bad it was until now. I admit, the weight of her words landing harder than I expected. I didn't realize how much I've been tolerating. I thought if I just kept my head down, it would get better. You don't have to do that, Amanda says gently. You deserve better. I nod again, feeling that simple truth settle into me, heavy and real. Yeah, I do. We stand there for a moment, the quiet stretching between us, and I realize I'm not afraid of what comes next. For the first time in a long time, I'm ready to figure it out, whatever it is. The next day, June shows up at Amanda's door, softer this time, like she's been practicing whatever speech she's about to give. I can hear her before I even open it, her voice quiet, but the desperation still there. It's different, though, not as sharp as before. When I open the door, she's standing there, eyes a little red, like she's been crying, but there's a guardedness to her too. I know that look. It's the one she wears when she wants something, and she's trying to soften me up before she asks for it. I'm sorry, she says before I can say anything. The words come out in a rush, like she's been rehearsing them. I shouldn't have pushed you like that. I know I've been hard on you. She pauses, taking a breath, like she's trying to choose the right words. I just need you to come home. Alex, I'll try to do better. I'll try to change. I look at her for a moment, letting her talk, but I don't say anything. She's still avoiding the real issue, the thing that's been building between us for months. She's trying to make this about her, but it's not. She shifts on her feet, hands wringing together. I know I've asked for a lot of space, but it's just, she bites her lip, eyes downcast, like she's waiting for me to say something. I need privacy sometimes, she continues. You're too sensitive about it. I can't be working all the time and have you in my face, asking questions. I need space to breathe. I feel the knot tighten in my chest, but I keep my voice steady. Privacy. That's what this is about, huh? You need privacy? She nods, her gaze flickering to the floor. Yes, I do. I need my time. My work time. My personal time. I take a step closer to her, feeling the weight of everything she said, everything she's left unsaid. So tell me then, who was on the phone all those times? Who was it you were talking to? She hesitates, her eyes darting to the side. She looks like she's about to say something, but then she takes a breath and finally looks at me. It was an old coworker, she says, her voice quieter now, almost reluctant. Someone I used to have feelings for. We've just been talking, catching up. The words hit me like a punch. The air between us feels thick, suffocating. For a moment, I can't say anything. I just stare at her, trying to process what she's just admitted. You weren't asking for privacy. I say finally, my voice low, sharp. You were hiding things. She looks at me, her eyes wide for just a second, like she wasn't expecting that to hit so hard. Then she deflects like she always does. You don't understand, she says quickly, a sharpness creeping back into her voice. It's not like that. It's just a friend. Someone from before we even met. You're overreacting. I can't do it anymore. I've tried. I've listened. I've given her chance after chance. But this is it. No, I say, shaking my head. I'm not overreacting. This isn't just about some friend. It's about the fact that you've been keeping things from me. And I'm done with it. I take a breath, feeling the finality of it settle in. You're not being honest with me, June. You haven't been for a long time. And I can't keep pretending like it's okay. She looks at me, her face shifting between anger and something else. Fear. Maybe? But she doesn't say anything. Is this it then? She asks, her voice suddenly trembling. Is it over? I don't know. I don't have the answer. Not yet. But I know this. I don't know what it means yet, June. I say, my voice steady. But I'm not going back into that house today. Not like this. She opens her mouth, but nothing comes out. For a long moment, she just stands there, staring at me like she's trying to figure out if I'll change my mind. Then she turns, walking toward the door, her heels clicking on the floor, each step more final than the last. When she gets to the door, she stops and looks back at me one last time, her face hardening. Fine, she says, her voice cold. Stay here then, but don't come crawling back when you realize you've made a mistake. She slams the door behind her. The sound is louder than I expect, but it doesn't shake me. I stand there, feeling the quiet settle in around me. For the first time in a long time, the space feels right. Not empty, but open. Amanda's standing behind me now, watching. She doesn't say anything at first, just gives me a quiet nod. You okay? She asks. I take a deep breath, feeling the weight in my chest finally start to lift. Yeah, I think I am. I don't know what the future holds, but right now, I know one thing. I'm done pretending. That evening, Amanda and I sit down to dinner, a real one this time. She's cooked, and the smell of roasted vegetables and chicken fills the room, making it feel like a real meal. Not rushed, not thrown together in between phone calls. Just food. Real food. We eat in a quiet rhythm, passing plates, helping ourselves to seconds without asking. The simplicity of it hits me harder than I expect. I never realized how much I missed just eating with someone, without all the tension, without 1,000 unspoken things hanging between us. After a few bites, I set my fork down, feeling the weight of the decision I've been carrying all day. I've decided. I start, my voice steady but tired. I'm staying separated for now. I'm going to start looking for my own place. Amanda doesn't hesitate. She just nods, her expression warm but not surprised. She doesn't try to change my mind, doesn't say, "Are you sure?" or "It's going to be okay." She just looks at me and says, "I'm proud of you for standing up for yourself." The words hit harder than I expect, and I feel a tightness in my chest loosen a little. My phone buzzes from across the table, a text from June. I don't even need to look at it to know what it says. I feel the temptation to check, but something inside me says not to. I don't answer it. I don't even pick it up. I silence the phone and leave it face down on the table, like I'm putting a wall between myself and all the noise that's been filling my life. Amanda pours us both a glass of wine, the deep red liquid catching the light as she hands it to me. She doesn't say anything, just sits back, waiting. "How are you feeling?" she asks, like she already knows the answer. I take a sip of the wine, letting the taste settle in my mouth, then exhale slowly. Lighter, stronger. She smiles, just a little, and leans back in her chair. Told you. Once you stop playing their game, the whole board changes. The sun is setting outside, the last of the daylight slipping away, and I realize something I hadn't really allowed myself to think about before. This isn't just about escaping a bad marriage. It's about finally making space for something better. Not just with Amanda, though that possibility now feels real, but with myself. I don't know what the future holds, but for the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm choosing it, rather than waiting for it to happen to me. And that feels different. Feels like the start of something new.